Let's start, though, with the results from those two tech mega caps. Mackenzie Sagalis is covering Amazon stocks spike this morning. Steve Kovac has got the Apple story for us as well. Mackenzie, we'll start with you on Amazon.
Hey, David. So Amazon shares are popping 12%, all thanks to its cloud comeback story. AWS grew just over 20%, its fastest pace since early 2022, and beat even the most bullish Whisper numbers with $33 billion in revenue. That helped ease concerns that Amazon was slipping in the cloud wars, especially after Google and Microsoft posted even stronger year-over-year percentage growth. Now, CEO Andy Jassy, he says that demand is strong across both AI and traditional workloads, and that Amazon is scaling compute to meet it. Now, he told investors he expects AWS to sustain this momentum for a while, teeing the company up for its first ever $200 billion plus quarter in Q4. Backlog, that's now at $200 billion, not including October's unannounced deals, which apparently exceeded the entire Q3 volume. So this wasn't just a rebound, it was a referendum. Amazon needed to prove that its massive infrastructure bets are paying off. It spent $34 billion in Q3 alone and now expects to hit $125 billion in CapEx for the year, more than its projected operating income. A big chunk of that is going into its in-house AI chips and new hyperscale campuses like Project Rainier, an $11 billion data center that it just built to power models exclusively for Anthropic. This is Amazon's answer to OpenAI's Stargate. And the chief takeaway across big tech, the winners aren't just the ones spending the most, they're the ones showing that it is working. Alphabet and Amazon are seeing that halo effect. Microsoft, it's still growing fast, but saw its stock dip. And then Meta, despite a revenue and earnings beat, it logged its worst drop in 3 years as investors question whether its AI push will ever turn into profit. Guys?
Mac, how would you classify sort of the tone of executives on the call? Obviously, several days ago, Amazon announced these layoffs, but then this report was so blockbuster. Did they address that at all and how it fits in with the bigger picture, the sentiment, the tone of the call in the company itself right now?
I mean, what's fascinating and kind of this connective tissue that links the Alphabet and Amazon bullish reaction we've seen is that they both have an in-house silicon program that basically their in-house AI chips compete with NVIDIA. And that's a really helpful upside when you think about the 70% plus gross margin that NVIDIA has on sales. And so they're able to undercut on price. And that's something that Jassy keeps returning to. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy talking about the fact that their chips are 30 to 40% cheaper than the models out there from the likes of NVIDIA. And that's part of the value proposition they offer AI customers specifically. And David, one thing that I've been keeping in mind, those unnamed October deals that they signed, you broke on our air earlier this week that Microsoft no longer has right of first refusal with OpenAI compute deals. And that's one of their big customers they don't have on the list so far. So I wonder if we can break that one together.
All right, we'll work on it for sure, Mackenzie.
Yeah, Goldman points out the backlog in October already larger than the total deal volume for Q3.
Wow.
Just an amazing quarter out of Amazon. Mackenzie, thanks. Let's turn to Apple, has now dipped lower after an early pop. iPhone 17 demand driving those results. Our Steve Kovac talked to Tim Cook and joins us with those comments this morning. Hey, Steve.
Yeah, Carl, the message here is the iPhone 17 is a hit, or at least more of a hit than we've seen the last couple iPhone cycles. Now, iPhone for the quarter, September quarter, did miss revenue estimates, but it was up 6%. And Tim Cook actually told me they could have sold more iPhones if they weren't supply constrained from strong demand. That actually applied to the iPhone 16, which the last bit of sales happened there in the quarter. Now, a big highlight here, services were up 15%, and they surpassed $100 billion for the fiscal year for the very first time. However, China was a bit of a sore spot. Again, it was down 3.5%, but there was guidance that surprised big time to the upside. They're now expecting top-line revenue growth between 10 and 12% and double-digit growth for the iPhone. And China is expected to grow in the December quarter, too. You put all of that together, and Apple is now predicting its best December quarter ever for overall sales and the iPhone. So what do we look at next? Of course, it's artificial intelligence. Cook did tell us that the big AI update to Siri is on track to launch next year and gave us some hints at the strategy there, partnering with other AI leaders instead of building it all in-house on their own. Here's what he told me, quote, in terms of the integration, we've integrated with ChatGPT, and our intention is to integrate with more people over time. So who are the likely candidates? Google Gemini, of course, that kind of opened up after that big DOJ case. And then there's Anthropic's Claude as well, guys.
This is all really interesting, Stephen, and I was reading through sort of the commentary to Tim Cook, or to you from Tim Cook, and I know you brought up the supply constraint. Is that then, I guess, the reason why we saw the disappointment in the iPhone revenue in this quarter, despite this bullish remarks about what is to come? What was the supply constraint there? Can you explain that a little?
Yeah, and in fact, I asked him that directly. Was it something else? And he just said, no, just demand was too strong for us to catch up. And what was interesting there, Courtney, is keep in mind, this September quarter is only like 9 or 10 days of iPhone 17 sales because it went on sale at the end of September. He even said the 16 was supply constrained. Even at the end of the life for the iPhone 16, people were still buying it right up to the very end. So just demand across the board, and that's going to translate over into the December quarter. I'll also note that iPhone Air was delayed by a couple weeks in China. That could have impacted things as well. Tim Cook told me that's going to pull forward as well, and he sees that demand kind of catching up now that it's on sale in China.
Really interesting stuff. Great job with Tim Cook there. Obviously, shares down 0.4%. But some of the bullish remarks, Tim Cook saying it was off the chart, and then a run at the table from the CFO talking about services. Thank you.